synthesizer. Okay, welcome to. Wait, I've seen it before. It's a new podcast that's me and someone else is doing. I'm not gonna name him right now.
Why would you?
I don't know. He's gonna be a very famous director, I think.
Yeah.
This one's for the history books, ladies and gentlemen, because we are both gonna be famous people in the future.
And if you are listening to this on the year 2050, how does it work living under President Tucker Carlson?
It's probably Zuckerberg, if I'm honest with you.
I don't think so. He's too weird. People didn't like Michael Bloomberg. People are not gonna like Mark Zuckerberg.
Hopefully, people already don't like Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah. If you're listening to this under the rule of President Zuckerberg, we're sorry. We failed you as the previous generation.
But that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
My name is Mohammed. I'm here with my friend Ali.
Hi.
And, well, this is basically what we're going to do in this podcast. We're going to talk about one story, two movies, or maybe three sometimes if it comes to that.
Or two different stories and two different movies that kind of look like each other.
Yeah, that's kind of the
Plan.
hope,
Oh.
I guess. But, yeah, it's, I guess, really simple structure. Like I said, we were talking before the podcast. I said, this is not going to be a podcast. This is going to be a relaxed cast. We're going to be really, really, really relaxing. We're going to enjoy life. We're going to talk about things we like, things we don't like.
Speaking of things we don't like, let's talk about Dune. Okay. The first one is about Dune, but before we get to the movies, you've read the book, right?
I have not read a single Dune book.
I've read the first one, the famous one, Dune. I don't like it. I don't like the book. I don't like Frank Herbert's writing. Don't attack me, people. It's not a very good book. It to be honest, many of the things that for people in the West are exotic, for us, it's like
Everyday life.
Yeah, calling your Messiah Lisan al-Ghaib is very interesting.
And Mahdi
is very interesting if you're a Westerner. For us, that's Hafiz and Mahdi. That we know we have those guys.
Yeah, I guess that's the point. That's exactly the point I have with Dune, at least from the movies I've seen. It's too close to our real life, so for me to care. Like, yeah, we get it.
Yeah.
The worm is the planktons, and albeit a lot bigger and eats everything. And
Yeah.
I don't know, the spices, oil, and whatnot. Arrakis is Middle East. Me and you both, for those of you that don't know us yet.
Yes.
We're both huge sci-fi nerds.
Yeah. To be honest, different franchises, but the same idea. I'm more of a Star Trek fan.
I'm not a Star Wars fan.
You're a Star Wars fan. You're closeted to Star Wars fan.
I enjoy Star Wars. I'm not a Star Wars fan. Because apparently Star Wars fans hate The Last Jedi. I love The Last Jedi.
Well, fuck them. I like The Last Jedi too.
That's
But I'm a Star Trek
another
fan.
topic
Trekkie,
for
I'm
another day. I guess that's the problem with Dune. That's it just isn't. I don't know.
It's not fun. It's not fun at all. The allegory gets a little bit too heavy-handed. In the book, we are just talking about the base story. Like, we haven't gotten to the movies yet. But the allegory is like too heavy-handed. As you said, yeah, we know what these mean and we live it. And there were some weird misrepresentations that I'm thinking, but the real life was actually so much more fun. Why didn't you use that? Like, you could have had some. It feels like Frank Herbert saw the news in the 60s that, what they're doing in Middle East. And 60s was actually the good time in the Middle East. Like, I mean, no, it wasn't, right?
So if I were to, I can't say I did some digging, but I did try to think about what period of time Herbert was trying to write Dune in, and this is like from like the beginning of the Israeli conflicts, the nation's birth.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why a major interest was
The Harkonnen and basically
Yeah.
foreign government giving another government, you say, go and have that place, it's yours.
Yeah.
Which is what England did. Not just with Israel, like with a lot of other places too. And I think it's after Mossadegh, right? Or before Mossadegh. Like, because I know oil thing was a huge thing when Mossadegh was. For those of you who have no idea what the fuck are we talking about, Mossadegh was like this guy. And
He wasn't like a guy, he was a guy.
he
But
was a
still.
guy. He was this guy who successfully lobbied and secured the national right of oil for Iran specifically, which basically kickstarted all the other nations saying, yeah, actually, you know what?
Screw you,
yeah,
West!
Yeah, it's ours. And because of that, he was cooed against by a joint venture of MI6 and CIA.
Yeah.
It's the Ajax operation. Actually, look it up. It's actually really fun. It's one of the few times two major superpowers work together to topple a democratically elected leader.
Successfully at that too.
Yeah, successfully at that too. It's actually very fun. And a while ago, like 10, 12 years ago, I think, CIA released the papers on the Ajax operation, Ajax TP. TP is short for To the Party, by the way. And which was a major player back in the day. Oh, God. The poor guys. And CIA actually released the papers, and it's kind of fun. Definitely check it out. Like, we need a movie about that. Come on.
Definitely need a movie, but
do it while Reza Kianian is still alive, because he kind of looks like Mossadegh. Give him a nose, and he looks like.
You know what? What I would love to see actually is not an Iranian film, but an American film like The Death of Stalin. Kind of like that.
Yeah.
People speaking in fluent English.
Yeah, that is Iran.
That would be fun actually, if I'm honest.
And bring Jeffrey Tambor to play Mossadegh because.
Jonathan Pryce.
Yeah, Jonathan Pryce. Yeah,
the first person I actually came into my mind.
Yeah. So, anyways, when Herbert was writing this, Middle East, imagine Middle East having a crisis. I mean, who heard of that? What's the latest crisis now? Literally, a bomb blew off yesterday in Middle East, in Kabul.
This is, by the way, November 3rd, 2021. 4th, 2021 that we're recording. So, yeah.
So a lot of our jokes are going to be dated.
Probably.
But the thing is, when Herbert wrote that, I understand the intent, and I think what he did for world building was actually okay. The problem is, the allegory is too heavy-handed. I can really see the connections. I don't want to see the connection. I want to think about them and have to. I'm looking at it right now because it's in my eye of sight. A book by Arthur C. Clarke, City and Stars.
Yep.
I want something like Clarke did with American politics, especially in 2001: A Space Odyssey and stuff like that. So, I want to think about the connection. I don't want to see them.
I think, on the other hand, like a friend of mine who absolutely hates the sci-fi genre, really actually liked. We're gonna get to it. But he really liked the Dune 2021 movie, and he said that the fact that I explained this story to him a little about the parallels, and he said that the fact that I can see those parallels really made me enjoy it even more. I guess there's what I'm trying to say is that there's a place for Dune, but it's not particularly in our hearts.
Yeah, I mean, definitely there's a place for Dune. The fact that so many people over time wanted to make a movie out of it, from the infamous Jodorowsky's Dune,
Which we're going to talk about.
yeah, which we're going to talk about, to Lynch, which we're going to talk about, to the miniseries, and then Villeneuve's
It's Villeneuve.
Denis's film.
Yeah.
So it's a very important book. Like it's one of those what do you say? Yeah, important blockbusters of sci-fi. Like there's a bunch of it's probably I, Robot by Isaac Asimov,
Yeah.
and 2001: A Space Odyssey, the book, which now I'm
Obviously this guy.
yeah
Minority Report by Philip K. Dick. If you
Yeah.
don't know, I mean, you can't see what I'm pointing at, but
Yeah.
it's the book.
by Philip K. Dick. Philip K. Dick, the best idea man and the worst writer that the sci-fi genre had. I hate his writing. And we'll get to it. We need to talk about Blade Runner probably at some point.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna reference it when we're talking about.
Yeah, especially because Denis has done it, and there are a lot of parallels with the Blade Runner movie that he made.
Yep, definitely.
But yeah, let's get into the first adaptation, or the adaptation that wasn't, which is the Jodorowsky's Dune. For those of you who don't know Jodorowsky, good.
Sorry.
Don't.
First, we can take a little break.
Whole look of his world.
The castle opened the mouth, the spaceship came in the tongue.
His vision was so huge, so beyond what anybody else was doing at that time. Things that George Lucas wasn't even going to try with Star Wars. It's enormous.
And now we're back, and Ali, you were saying?
Oh, yeah, let's talk about Jodorowsky's Dune.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know who Jodorowsky is, good, don't.
He's a really strange. I've seen only one of his movies. Is Holy Mountain, and I haven't done drugs, at least not. What do you say?
Voluntarily?
Intentionally, I guess. But watching Holy Mountain was, without a shadow of a doubt, the closest thing I've ever had to a drug trip. And
I can understand. I've seen more of his. I've seen El Topo, which somebody very wrongly told me it's a Western.
It's not, I
No,
guess.
yeah. If El Topo is Western, then I don't know. I'm trying to think of Apocalypse Now is sci-fi because it technically has science in it and it's fictional. I mean, yeah, it's in the West. Okay, is he Chilean?
I think he's
think so.
Mexican or Chilean. Oh, let me see.
He's South American. Central to South American and French. Like I know he has French shit. And so he wanted to make a movie back in the 70s, before Star Wars, before your beloved franchise. And
I will not repeat this, but once and for all, I am not a Star Wars nerd. I just like the movies. By the way, he is Chilean, yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. He's Chilean and Chilean French, right?
Well, probably. My internet is sucking ass.
Well,
Yeah,
in the
Chilean French.
Oh yeah.
Anyway.
Wow, my memory is actually better than I imagined. So, anyways, he was going to make an adaptation of Dune, and there is a documentary about this, and I highly recommend you check it out if you like documentary about movies. Like, I know behind the scene documentaries, making of documentaries are not really good if you're not interested in the movie itself, but this is a good one. Like, they really tried their best about a movie that never got made. And he wanted to have a lot of weird people in it. He wanted to have Mick Jagger in it.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, for the character that in the Lynch's movie Sting got to play. So they traded rock and roll stars. And
Rolling Stones, go out! Police, come in!
you haven't seen Only Murders in the Building to the end.
I have.
You see?
Yeah.
You know, Stink got drunk once after the police, but don't tell anyone. For those of you who are in a very small group of people who have seen Only Murders in the Building.
This is a reference to that show.
Yeah. So the thing is, he wanted to have Mick Jagger in it. He wanted to have Salvador Dali in it. Orson Welles was supposed to be in it as Baron Harkonnen.
Yep.
And we get to the story soon. The story of the movies, because the movies we are going to discuss, they don't actually have the same story. They're based on the same book, but they're different.
Yep.
A little bit.
Yep.
So we get to that. But it was supposed to be like this conglomeration of weird people, and it never got made because of money issues. The studio didn't want to spend that money on them. H.R. Geiger
was supposed to be
Yeah.
one of the people involved. Yeah, that's,
Dan O'Bannon, the guy who wrote Alien,
Yeah.
was supposed to be, and actually, a lot of the stuff in
this is actually pre-Alien fame. Like, they
Yeah.
didn't go
they
with...
used a lot of stuff from Dune to make Alien. Actually,
Yeah.
Like a lot of designs and stuff
Yeah.
like that went into Alien, and went into Lynch's movie, but we'll get to that. But yeah, it's a lot of weird people in it.
I think, again, based on the one movie I've seen, he had... we're going to talk about... this is something that I can tell about Lynch's
Dune.
film too. Yeah. He could have made a movie. I think it still wouldn't have been a good one. I still think it wouldn't have been the definitive edition of what Dune fans would have wanted, or something that
Yeah.
people would have enjoyed, especially considering here's the thing, both Jodorowsky and Lynch are very, very surrealist very surrealist directors, and that semi works with Dune.
Dune isn't a surrealist work, I have to say.
There are surreal elements.
There are, but they're more like mystical and spiritual than literally surreal. I think that's the problem. I know Lynch is spiritual, and Jodorowsky is definitely like spiritual,
Yeah.
but I don't think Dune is a very surrealistic movie. Basically, a movie that we were going to talk about, but we can't right now. That one is more surreal, actually. Good night.
Yeah, I haven't watched it.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about. It's gonna be delayed, people. I mean, not for you. By the time you listen to it, it's gonna be probably the next episode. But for us, it's gonna be delayed.
Yeah.
But anyways, I don't think Dune is a surrealistic movie story. It's spiritual, definitely. But it's the same way that, again, to bring me back to Middle East, it's the same sort of spiritualism that I see in a lot of Persian poems.
Yeah, definitely. It's how do we say it? It is heavily influenced by it.
Yeah.
At the least. Not only Persian poetry, but like even Arabic poetry. If you've read any,
I've read a few. I've read a few by the Yazid, the famous one.
for people, I mean, I highly doubt anyone speaks Arabic. For those of you listening, but if you do have a little bit of knowledge about that language, I suggest reading some of their poems. They're really good, especially the romantic ones.
Yeah, it's there is a stereotype in Iran which I highly disagree with, that the Arabic countries were these cultureless, wasteland, and then they decided to attack Iran and suddenly got culture.
Yeah.
No. The fact that our culture got influenced by them means they had something to start with.
Yeah, definitely.
But the reason I talk about Persian is the phrase Lisan al-Ghaib, which for those of you who don't know is the nickname for a Persian poet
Yeah.
called Hafiz. which is the famous one, I think. He and Maulana are the famous ones.
The most famous ones, definitely.
Yeah. I know Ferdowsi is supposed to be famous, but it's like for historians only.
Yeah, like, I mean, you point out the Sherlock Holmes novels.
Oh.
He references the man several times during his stories.
Yeah.
And it was quite shocking the first time I read it. But we're getting off topic completely.
Yeah, to be honest, this is, and again, before we get back to
Yeah, it's
Jodorowsky's
okay.
this is something I don't know if you're like this or not, but I think a lot of Iranians are. Whenever we see Iranian stuff mentioned outside of Iran, it's always weird. Like, Maza Jobrani, there's an Iranian comedian, went to talk with Stephen Colbert, and he made Stephen Colbert say, "Salam, man Stephen Haslam." And when Colbert said it, I felt like it's out of body experience. Like, oh my god.
It's so weird.
Yeah, it's like there's a world outside of Iran, and there are Iranians in that world. Like, how?
And there are people that acknowledge that fact. Jesus.
Yeah.
It's such a poor nation.
So
Anyways,
back to
yeah.
Jodorowsky's Dune. Anyways, the movie didn't got made.
So before we move on from it, so you're like me. You think that movie would not have been good?
I completely agree. I don't think it would have been. I think it would have been interesting. I don't think it would have been good, mainly because the story that Jodorowsky was talking about didn't make a lick of sense.
By the way, I haven't watched the documentary. I just read a lot of articles and stuff about it.
I did the opposite. I just watched the documentary. I haven't read anything about it. But the thing is, I don't think Jodorowsky wanted to make Dune. The fact is, he didn't even know what Dune was when he pitched the idea. He read it afterwards. But I don't think it would have been good. It would have been interesting. It would have been epic. Like, to some kind of sense, I think we got Jodorowsky's Dune in David Lynch's Dune.
Yes, exactly.
And again, David Lynch's Dune, we get to it, it's not very good, but it's memorable. I remember a lot of it. And I haven't rewatched it for this podcast. I should have, but I got busy. But I remember it more than Denis's Dune, which I watched like a couple of nights ago. So it's a powerful image, just not very good one.
If we're talking about Lynch, first of all, what is your stand on David Lynch?
Some of his movies I like, the others I don't. I like the man himself. I think he's a very interesting man.
Yeah.
I want to listen to him. In contrast to Jean-Luc Godard, which I think he is like a shitty man. I don't want to listen to him. But some of his movies I really love. Like, I love Lost Highway. I love Mulholland Drive. I love Elephant Man. I really love Elephant Man.
Blue Velvet?
What?
Blue Velvet?
Blue Velvet. Yeah, Blue Velvet is actually really good. A lot of his... I even like Inland Empire. I don't think any of his movies I really hate. Except Dune.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. I mean, I'm a huge Lynch nerd. I like... the thing about Lynch, I think that's really, really important. Yeah, you were...
I just realized we have a Lynch nerd and a Trekkie. We're basically Red Letter Media anyway.
Oh, God!
I'm Mike and you're Jay.
I'm not as much of a nerd as Jay is. Or his friend, who's the bald guy?
Jack.
Yeah.
Jack Packard.
Not as big of a nerd as they are. But the thing about Lynch is something that's... it really, really shows in Dune 2 is his whole style over substance issue. Not issue, I guess. Style, you can say.
Yeah. The thing about Dune is that Dune is a clash of director and studio. So I think if Lynch would have gotten his way 100%, it probably would have been
a lot better.
Crazier, at least.
Here's the thing. I think there's an expression, obviously, that says being at the wrong place at the wrong time. David Lynch was at the wrong place at the wrong time for the right job.
Yeah.
The truth is, Dune has not aged well. In contrast to many of his movies, like I think
Eraserhead, like
it's
his
incredibly
first movie.
virtual movie.
Yeah.
It's actually a really good movie, by the way.
Yeah, and
there's that famous clip. I don't know if you've seen it. Someone asks something from Lynch, and he's like, "Well, Eraserhead." I can't do it good, David Lynch imitation, but bear with me. Well, Eraserhead is my most spiritual film, and the interviewer asks, "Please elaborate further on that." And he's like, "No, I won't."
I've seen that. I love that thing about Lynch. The fact is, I also think that you made a movie. That's enough. I don't need you explaining it. Godard.
If you're hearing this, Mr. Godard.
If you're hearing this, Mr. Godard, please don't make movies. I beg you.
After that failure of the movie, his previous one was
Image Book.
Yeah, I highly doubt he's gonna make another one.
I hope so.
Anyways,
Godard bashing aside, I think we should go for a break and come back and talk about David Lynch's Dune.
Yeah, definitely.
Arrakis, Dune, desert planet, moving.
And we're back. Let's talk about David Lynch's 1984 masterpiece, Dune.
Is it a masterpiece?
I mean, 1984, we had a really good movie called 1984. I love that joke. I love
Brazil. I think Brazil's
85.
85.
Like the year after that. But I love the fact that the adaptation of 1984 came out in 1984.
Happy coincidences, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, happy coincidence.
For once, Hollywood did something right.
Yeah. So, about Dune. First, the story. There's this planet called Arrakis.
Arrakis.
Which I think...
Desert planet.
Oh, God.
Dune.
Zendayas narration in the beginning of Villain. Then he says...
He isn't even trying anymore.
I'm not gonna say that name. You Quebec people are a bane on existence of Canadians.
How dare you?
To quote Adam from Your Movie Sucks, you don't even want to be part of Canada. Just leave. And the thing is, there's this planet called Arrakis, which has a very Middle Eastern sounding name, like it sounds like Iraq.
Iraq, yeah.
And, Arabia, Saudi Arabia, Syria, like it has a Middle Eastern name. And it, as you could have guessed, is a desert planet. Think Tatooine, but Middle East.
As Kyle MacLachlan constantly says during the movie, Dune, Arrakis, desert planet. That's probably my favorite line that I think about.
So, anyways, the planet is Arrakis. It's a desert planet. There was this thing there called spice, which, as we mentioned, is like oil. Like they literally use it to power their ships. And for many years, it was for a family called Harkonnen, which you can't think. Are they like Russian?
If I were to say, yeah, they're mostly like the Soviet Union.
Yeah, because the main guy is named Baron Harkonnen is like Vladimir.
Vladimir, yeah.
So they're like the Russians. And for a long time, they had the hold over Arrakis until Emperor says, go away.
Emperor is England, by the way.
Yeah, Emperor is England. And gives the Dune to another family called...
America,
Outsiders. Yeah. Atreides, yeah. Paul and Leto. And Duke Leto and his son Paul, they go there. There are native people on Arrakis. They're called Fremen. They have their own technology. They work with the sand dunes. Shalai Hulud. What's that?
Yeah, whatever. I don't even know what that means in her language.
I know what Lisan of Baby is,
yeah,
but I don't know what
pretty
Shalai Hulud
obvious.
is.
Shalai Hulud.
Anyways, they're basically like native Arabic people that already lived in those deserts. I'm not projecting or anything. They literally have like Middle Eastern names like Yamis and Chani,
Yeah.
and they have Middle Eastern wear. They have their own technology too, but anyways, they live in Dune, and so the Atreides family comes to sort of become the ruler of Dune and extract the spice. But the Emperor sort of sides with the Harkonnen, that the Harkonnen people attack and kill Atreides family, except Paul and his mom. I don't remember in Lynch's movie if the mother also survives.
She does.
Oh yeah, she does.
She
good.
bursts the stupid sister.
Yeah, yeah.
And then she baldens herself? What's the word
shaves
for it?
her-
Shaves her head, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Anyways,
she's hot.
I mean, yeah. To be honest, in Denis's movie, the mom is
We're
also
gonna
hot.
talk about that.
The mom is also hot, but Paul Kyle MacLachlan is sort of like the messiah that the Dune people were looking for, Lisan al-Ghaib, which means the what do they call it? The voice of the other world, the speaker.
Is it the voice within? Okay, let me check.
Because I think it's a good translation. I don't think it's right, but it's a good translation.
Let's see.
Anyways, so while Muhammad sees that, I'll continue the story. So they go to the native Dune people and the Fremen, and Paul sort of becomes like, well, their leader, and they attack the Harkonnens, and they attack the Emperor and exact revenge. That's the gist of it, basically. Did I miss? There are a lot of stuff there, like the Metal Fang.
The
Well,
AIDS thing. You know what
Yeah,
I'm talking about, right?
yeah. Anyways, there were a lot of like intricacies that we get into, but the whole idea is family gets betrayed. The son of the family goes to the native people, becomes their leader. They ride sandworms and attack the Harkonnens.
You know what's the funny thing? Isn't it technically whitewashing?
The fact that
You know, a dude from another planet comes and
it's not
saves him.
whitewashing, it's white savior.
White savior, yes, sorry.
And yes,
pardon
it
me.
is. Yeah, it's very much is.
How can they still make that movie in 2021? I do not know.
The funny thing is, if you listen, like Dennis says, like, no, we are not celebrating it. We're criticizing it. And I'm like,
No, you're
no,
not.
you're not. You're literally just going through the book. But there is also whitewashing. The fact is that in the Dune movie, the desert planet
Does
has
not-
all white people. The
Yeah.
planet that is literally based on Middle East has a lot of white people. Like Sean Young is in it.
I mean, back then you can kind of excuse it because the norm was, I don't know, the bar was set too low. We were talking about
Yeah.
the Doctor No is played by an American guy. Dude's fucking Chinese. What the
Yeah,
hell?
they just make him look. Oh my god, that's 60s. This is 80s, but yeah, I understand. The thing is that again, we get to Denis's movie, but in that, not even Arabic. The Spanish people are playing.
At least they tried.
Yeah, they tried to go for.
I'm gonna defend Dune 2021 a bit, but
Yeah.
we're gonna get to that.
Yeah, so that's the David Lynch's version. The David Lynch's version actually goes through the whole book,
Yeah,
which Denis's version does not.
which is, I think, the biggest problem with the movie besides the
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
visual effects, because like it feels like, at least I haven't read the book again, it feels like it jumps over like at least a third of the story when Paul meets the Fremen, and the girl is like, "Oh my God, Paul, tell me about your plan." And like, okay, no need, let me just bang you, dude. So good.
Yeah, I accept. And the thing is, the movie is too busy for its own good. The David Lynch's film, like they try to shove too many things in one story, and I think the good aspect of that is both of these movies are epic. Like they're epic sci-fis. They're not dramas. Like they're not 2001: A Space Odyssey. They're epic sci-fis. So a lot of characters, a lot of events happening, and Lynch's movie is more like an epic history film. Like it's like a Spartacus.
Yeah.
To mention his not mentor, like daddy. I don't know, Kubrick. What is Kubrick to Lynch? I know Kubrick liked Lynch, but I don't know if Lynch liked Kubrick.
Influencer, not the modern term, obviously.
Yeah, the influencer of, like, David Lynch's Dune is more like Spartacus. It's more like Lawrence of Arabia.
Yep, definitely Lawrence.
Yeah. So it's literally actually Lawrence of Arabia. A white dude comes into desert planet and
saves the people.
Except it's not
With
Peter
his
O'Toole.
mind-bending techniques.
Yeah.
And kind of charming personality.
Yeah, Kyle MacLachlan is actually really good. I think the movie has a lot of issues. I think the actors actually did a very good job.
Exactly, I agree with you.
The Jorgen guy, we just watched his last name. I can't remember. Jorgen Prochnov,
yeah.
who plays Leto. He's like very calm, and I actually like him way better than I like Oscar Isaac, by the way.
I can't agree with that, but I respect your opinion.
I think he's a better Leto. Okay, we get to that.
He's more commanding, if you want to say, in a sense, because let's come back to it later.
But you had Patrick Stewart playing Gurney something.
If you want to see Patrick Stewart with long hair, this is the movie for you. For like 5 seconds, obviously, but
yeah, he's very little in it. I think because there is a lot happening. I think the Atreides family gets betrayed in like the first half of the movie.
Surprisingly, like the betrayal takes place like on hour 120, which is like over half the movie. And this is the thing, like the movie clearly is skipping over a lot of things to get to the ending. Obviously,
they just want to see Paul ride the sand wall.
That's where the studio interference came, which really hurt this movie. Obviously, you know, you've heard about what Jodorowsky himself thinks of this movie, right?
Yeah, this movie is shit.
He enjoyed how bad this movie was.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't realize his own dream, and he was like, well, if I can't do it myself, I'm not gonna let anyone else do it. And he kind of succeeded in that.
He didn't succeed. He didn't do anything. He just realized that the studio just didn't fuck me over. They fucked David Lynch over
that's
too.
Better interpretation of.
If you watch the documentary, he actually talks about it. He says, they were taking me to see that movie. I was feeling like really bad because he actually likes David Lynch. He says he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And then as I was watching the movie, I slowly got happier because I realized this movie is really bad. This movie is shit. So
be petty, people. That's the lesson we learn from.
Oddly enough, Lynch also thinks that he doesn't like Dune.
From what I've gathered, he absolutely denies the whole thing, and never has he ever I've seen talked about. Like, Fincher has talked about Alien 3.
Yeah, but I think Alien 3 wasn't like that big of a mess as Dune. Dune was really, like, they didn't let Lynch into the editing room. Like, they edited his movie without him.
Yeah, I know.
Which is, for those of you who don't know, a big no-no. That's the kind of shit that made Kubrick...
Don't do it, producers.
Yeah. That's the kind of shit that made Kubrick go from US to England for a long time. Because he said, fuck you edited Spartacus without me.
He did the right thing, though, to be fair.
Yeah, he made
He made better films.
He made
from
Doctor
this
Strangelove
onwards.
there, and so yeah,
You know, the last thing I think.
yeah. I mean,
The last thing I want to touch on something is that.
no, it's not the last thing. We need to talk about Metal Fong. I haven't still.
What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about the fact that Sting has a metal fong in this movie, and actually it gives way to my argument that you are probably not going to forget this movie.
Okay, the metal thing is truly unforgettable, but there are a lot of unforgettable things about Lynch's Dune.
Yeah,
The cheesiness, I think, is actually the
yeah,
first.
the eyes are definitely VFX, like the glow.
Yep.
The eyes that glow blue.
Not good. That's the whole thing with them. The VFX are so terrible.
The shield.
Oh God.
It looks
it's
like
not a shield. It's a fucking cube, dude.
I mean, you look at it that way. I look at it as David Lynch predicted Minecraft, but
Oh. Then screw you, David Lynch.
the VFX hasn't aged well, which is
The set design is actually really good, though.
the set design is
In
actually
contrast.
influenced Denis's movie.
Yep, it has.
Yeah, there are a lot of elements. The set design is good. The odd thing is, and I know Lynch is a fan of practical effects. Like he's not the one to use
The VFX.
yeah, VFX computer CGI. But Dune has a surprising amount of CGI, which makes me think it wasn't his choice.
Again, wrong place at the wrong time. I don't think the technology at that time, 1984, would have led for something like Dune to be made in the first place. Like, we're gonna come back to it in the 2021 version. The 37 years that has passed since then, things have changed a lot.
Yeah. To quote Bob Dylan, things have changed. It's a song.
But
Oh, I already used that joke in the video. I just remembered why you were laughing. Yeah.
I'm gonna publish this one sooner. You can't do it.
No. It's actually the video is for Jupiter's Legacy.
Oh. Okay.
The show that nobody remembers, and rightfully so. Even I don't remember, and I made a video about it. I made that joke there that Bob Dylan says. Bob Dylan has a song called "Things Have Changed."
Things have indeed changed.
Yeah, things have indeed
Mr.
changed.
Dylan.
I kind of disagree with you on that they couldn't have made it back then. The way they went ahead to make it was a bad way, but they could have. Like, imagine it was 80s in 1984. A year later you had Brazil, which again has a lot of good practical effects. And at the same time you had The Thing by John Carpenter.
I think those. I don't think the scale is the same, if I'm honest with you. Like, Brazil is much more intimate story. Thing is in a much more closed
Remote.
space, remote setting.
I think the scope, it required more money. Like, it needed more money. And
Maybe.
yeah, they didn't give Lynch the money. They gave Villeneuve 100 something $million.
160, if I'm right in the budget.
Yeah, which is a lot of money for those of you who don't know. Who haven't seen money. It's a lot of money, $160 million. But like, Lynch's movie feels cheap. Like,
Compared to the other ones,
Compared to-
the other
yeah,
movies from
yeah.
the time.
it feels like they were really trying to not go too hard on the bank there.
I mean, they did spend a lot though. Like, I think the budget was like, let me check. It was like 50 million, which for the time is quite a lot. It's 42 million.
Yeah,
I
for the
think
time is
compared to like Blade Runner. I know Blade Runner for a fact it was 20, and it looks a lot better.
I mean, yeah, I agree. Yeah, so it's definitely, I don't know, it's a problem. I don't know where the money went. It's not on the screen.
Yeah, definitely not.
The movie has great set design, but you know the thing that you can see in a lot of movies where you can see the edge of the set, or that you can see the folds in the clothes. It's sort of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a metal fong there, so watch it for the meta. I oddly recommend people watching it. If you liked Denis Dune, give this one a chance too, because at the very least you get to see the same stuff.
Insanity.
Yeah, the insanity. Because, as I said, it's a movie you will not forget. There are a lot of, even that scene that I keep talking about, Paul riding a sandworm, it's a horrible back projection, or is it blue screen or back projection? I think it's back projection.
I think it's blue screen, if you were to ask me at least. Like, a lot of it looks like blue screen, especially the places where Paul's talking to the people. What is the name?
Fremen?
Yeah. In that giant hall thing, it's
Yeah.
clear, like, there's a border around Conor McLachlan, and you're like,
Yeah.
I realize.
Yeah. And the blue screen is really bad, and he really doesn't have an excuse there, because Star Wars came out like 7 years before,
Yeah.
and it had a lot of
Freaking Empire Strikes Back was
like 2 years before.
Yeah.
And yeah, so they really didn't have an excuse for that. But the scene where Kyle MacLachlan, Paul, is riding a sandworm is a memorable scene.
In a weird way, yeah.
yeah,
I agree with that.
I think it's I remember it more than I remember Denis Dune.
I can't agree with that again.
Yeah. So is what was it that the last thing you wanted to mention that I sort of jumped in the middle of it?
No, it's okay. The thing is, if that movie was made today by a director that was his like third feature, that director would have failed miserably, and he probably would not have had another chance. When you look at David Lynch, I think he's also a very lucky guy. He went on to make some of his best works after doing, like, again, Blue Velvet. He made Lost Highway. What was that? Wild at Heart, which I think is a really underappreciated movie.
The Nicolas Cage movie.
Yeah. Again.
Yeah, I think the times were different.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, people saw Elephant Man and realized this guy has potential. They saw Dune and say, well,
maybe
he doesn't have potential making sci-fi movies, but he has potential. Let's give him another chance.
Or to be more frank, he doesn't have potential making blockbuster, mega budgeted, explosive.
Which is weird to think
movies.
that George Lucas wanted him to make Return of the Jedi, and he went and made Dune instead.
Imagine Jabba David Lynch version.
Oh my god. Oh, no, imagine Jabba David Cronenberg version, which was Lucas's other choice for making that movie.
George Lucas is a weird person.
Yeah,
that's the thing we learned from this conversation.
But yeah, I mean, he wanted Lynch and Cronenberg. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? And at that time, Cronenberg wasn't even like the Fly Cronenberg.
Yeah, this is like Videodrome Cronenberg.
Yeah, this is Crimes of the Future Cronenberg. Like, what the hell, man? Naked Lunch.
This isn't the most violent here, Cronenberg, which I think at least that makes a little bit sense. Like, you know, a greedy drama, something you can make in
not the most violent here.
No, the other one.
History of Violence. The most violent here is
Yeah.
like J.C. Chando.
Which is a terrible movie.
I love that movie. Fuck off.
Wait, am I mix? I think I'm mixing.
It's
up
Oscar
something
Isaac.
else. No, I like that movie. No,
History of Violence is Viggo Mortensen and Ed Harris.
I think I'm mixing it with Lawless, which came like a year or two
Oh,
before.
yeah,
and
Lawless.
it has Shia LaBeouf. I think that movie's actually more disappointing.
That movie, the director of that movie is the
He's a really famous
Australian guy.
No, Justin Kurzel. No?
No.
Wait.
No, the guy who made The Proposition, which is a great western.
It's John Hillcoat.
John Hillcoat. He's a really good director, in my opinion. Like, even Lawless, as bad as it was, I think it was bad, and I blame it all on Shia LaBeouf.
His last film was also 999, which... Ooh, he did the short for Red Dead. Okay.
Yeah, and
The Road.
The Proposition.
The Road.
Yeah,
which I really like too. Yeah,
he's
I
an
guess-
Australian guy.
yeah.
And I blame a lot of the badness of Lawless on Shia LaBeouf and David Damon, which played his brother,
Yeah.
because they don't belong in this world. Gary Oldman and Guy
Pierce.
Pearce. I want to say Guy Ritchie. Guy Pearce. This is why are we reviewing Lawless? But yeah, it's actually a beautiful movie that is really badly acted, and it's a problem because Proposition. I highly recommend you watch Proposition if you haven't. It's a Australian western, which happens in.
Unfortunately.
It's like it happens in Australia, like not in the Wild West.
That's actually cool.
Yeah,
I'd definitely give it a shot.
it actually also stars Guy Pearce.
I'm not the fan of the guy, but I guess I can deal with it.
Aren't you a fan of Iron Man?
I'm not a fan of Prometheus, if I'm honest
Oh.
with you. That's the thing that broke Guy Pearce for me. We're again staving
Yeah,
way
yeah,
off course.
Let's take a break and return with Denny.
But before that, you recommend Dune, David Lynch. I
Oh.
recommend Dune, David Lynch too, right?
Yeah. I do recommend with asterisks. Like, watch it, but
Don't expect much.
don't expect much. Don't watch Denis Dune and then go and watch Lynch's and try and oh yeah, this is this. It's not the same. If you want to have a better understanding, like, I'm trying to watch Blue Velvet and then go and watch Dune.
Yeah, I think if you're starting with David Lynch movies, Dune should be last or second to last. Like,
Yeah, Inland Empire should be last because you will not understand that movie, even though it has the best actor in the history of cinema. Jeremy Irons is
I was gonna say Mark Wahlberg, but you know, you're
Mark Wahlberg.
right.
Is he in Inland Empire?
No, but he's the greatest actor that's ever lived. So
Fuck off.
let's take a break.
Oh, these aren't indigenous. They can't survive without me. Each one of these drinks every day the equivalent of 5 men. 20 palm trees. 100 lives.
Should we remove them? Save the water?
No. These are sacred. Old dream.
And we're back
We are back, baby.
with Denis Dune.
Denis Villeneuve. First of all, love him or eh?
I
The man.
have no opinion on the man himself.
So
His movies are very hit and miss for me.
Oh, okay.
I love Arrival. Arrival was him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I love Sicario. I love Blade Runner. I hate Enemy.
The hate for Enemy can be justified, I guess.
I think Enemy for me the hate is because you're doing David Cronenberg. Don't do David Cronenberg. Let David Cronenberg do David Cronenberg.
No, he's doing something very like you're comparing it to Dead Ringers, I think.
No,
more
I'm
than
comparing
anything.
it to Spider.
Okay.
The later era David
Yeah,
Cronenberg.
there are some elements of Cronenberg in Enemy, but okay, I'm a big Villeneuve fan.
Yeah, I know.
boy. Maybe he's in my top 10 directors of all time. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't
I
watched his
understand.
first 2 films. I think he's very, very smart, man. I think
He's a good director. I give you that. He's a really good director. The problem is, all of his movies that I like, I don't like them like 5 out of 5. Like, they're always 4, 4.5. Because there's always something in there that really bugs me. In Arrival, it's Jeremy Renner, the character of Jeremy Renner. In Blade Runner, it's Jared.
Harrison Ford.
It's Jared Leto. Jared Leto ruins that movie for me.
I mean, he isn't that much. Like,
He the fact is that he's our main villain, sort of.
technically.
Yeah, technically, he's the mastermind, but he's such a cartoonishly
I like Jared Leto.
over the
I'm-
top.
I'm gonna confess something here. maybe some. I've actually seen people agree with me on this more than my other unpopular opinions. I like 2049 more than the original Blade Runner.
I disagree, but that's just because the original Blade Runner is like, for me, such a masterclass of world building.
Yeah, I definitely
actually
see
the
that.
the thing is, I like the villain in the original one because he's a businessman. Like, he says all of this.
There are actually two villains, but obviously the other guy.
The business guy,
Yeah.
not Roy. Roy isn't a villain. He's basically an anti here. He's a bad guy. He's to
not
quote Billie Eilish, he's not a bad guy.
Well, Billy, I says I'm the bad guy, so that's not a good quote to use.
I'm just using the name. It's the bad guy part of it. He's not a quote unquote bad guy. So, and I don't think Roy is a bad guy, but the villain, his creator,
Yeah.
for all of his talks of "you're my son, you're my father," he is at the end of the day a businessman. That's the thing I have a problem with Jared Leto. He is not the businessman.
I'm thinking we should do a Blade Runner episode too, but that's for later.
Yeah, that's for later.
Uh, I think with Villeneuve, especially his later movies, he kind of loses the intimacy he had with some of his earlier works, like Prisoners
Yeah,
and Incendies, or as the French should say, Incendie.
Insidious.
No. I don't think you've watched it. It's about this.
Who's in it?
Not famous people.
I probably haven't.
I'm
a very
I think it's his
classist person.
second best movie, if I'm honest with you.
I will check it out. I like Prisoners. I really liked Prisoners. I like Sicario, as I said. Sicario is a really good movie.
You like generally most of his movies.
Yeah, I like most of his movies. The fact is that I don't have an opinion on the guy. Like, if they say tomorrow, oh, he's gonna make a movie, for me to get hyped up for that movie, it's either needs to be about Don Quixote or stars Jeremy Irons. Like,
Well, a Tim Burton movie.
No, if the Villeneuve is making the
yeah,
movie,
yeah.
like, for me to get hyped up for a Villeneuve movie, it needs to be either Don Quixote or Jeremy Irons is gonna be in it.
I'll call him.
Yeah, tell him to put Jeremy Irons in stuff. He's doing House of Gucci. Save the guy. When we're recording this, by the way, House of Gucci hasn't come out yet.
But we are predicting it with absolute assurance that it's gonna be a bad movie.
Yeah, it's just gonna be funny because the Italian accent on Lady Gaga is like...
And she spent 9 months on it, by the way.
Yeah,
So
9 months.
Don't forget, if you want.
I could have done that accent right now. I am a Gucci.
It's a me,
It's a me.
Maurizio Gucci.
Rodolfo Gucci. And I hate to say this. Don't make me... Oh my... Jared Leto has a better Italian accent in that trailer than Lady Gaga.
You hate Jared Leto too many times. I understand why, but you really hate the dude.
I do. Because I think Jared Leto shows everything wrong with acting. Like, believing it to be something so... They're like, no. Don't be an asshole. Don't be Rutger Hauer. To quote Blade Runner. Because Rutger Hauer apparently was a nightmare on the Blade Runner set.
Yeah, I've heard stories about the whole thing.
Anyways, Dune.
2021 Dune.
2021 Dune.
Let's give our quick opinion, I guess, first, and we'll get into the nitty gritty.
Well, I write every movie I watch. That's the reason my letterbox is like not all of the movies I watched are on it, because I write every review for any movie I watch. A review. Like I have, I think, 119 movies on there and 119 reviews. So I'm gonna just quote that because I thought of it beforehand. Great movie, great visuals, not great movie, great visuals. Beautiful movie. I don't think I'm gonna go back to it.
That's fair, I guess. For me, the thing with Dune, again, after coming off so long, I mean, I'm not 37 years old, obviously. I haven't watched the original Dune 1984, but after coming so far, you can see how much time has helped the production of the whole thing. But the movie itself, I think it's a good movie. I don't think it's his best, obviously. I don't think he's actually even in his top 5. This is his 10th movie, by the way. Shocking. I don't think
so it is in his top 10, probably.
it is definitely in his top 10. I don't know, maybe 7. I haven't watched his first 2 movies, though. I can't actually, rank it.
Yeah.
With a clear intent.
I mean, for me, the best one so far, it's Blade Runner.
Blade Runner.
And after that, it's Arrival. I love Arrival.
I think you should watch Polytechnic and Incendies. Both of those are... Again, the thing with Dune is that he tried to go back on the intimacy his earlier movies had.
That's actually one of my problems with the movie. Is the fact that the movie wants to be close to the character. The way that Villeneuve is... that Denis is telling the movie... I know it's not, his name is not even Denis. I know I'm mispronouncing
Denis.
that. Denis. But
this is the lax cast. I repeat that.
When Western people, when French people learn that my name is Hamse and not Kamse, I will learn their fucking language. And
anyways, your problem with
I mean, before I get to it, where you finish with your
he's trying to take some steps back. Again, I don't care for the story particularly, but I see the care he has put into the movie. He clearly loves the source material, and he really put a lot of effort into realizing what Frank Herbert was probably thinking back 50.
He actually went and watched a bunch of Middle Eastern people and decided to say, let's make them act like Middle Eastern people.
I mean, again, that Anthony's movie is about Middle Eastern people, so he does have a lot of experience. Yeah. He's really smart. I think that's the biggest testament I can give to the director, is that many people, for example, call Christopher Nolan a modern Stanley Kubrick. I think Villeneuve is more of a Kubrick guy than Nolan.
Yeah, I don't like Nolan. For those of you who will be long-time listeners, you will probably hear me bash 2 people more often than not. Jean-Luc Godard and Christopher Nolan. And oddly enough, they're both the same. They're both assholes who think they're saying something when they're actually saying nothing. Anyways, the problem I had with Dune that you mentioned, it is an intimate movie. You're supposed to feel close to the character. We'll get to the story in a minute. It's basically the first half.
It's the first half of 1984.
The Harkonnens are in Arrakis, and then they leave based on the order of the Emperor. Who do you think is going to be the Emperor? We haven't seen him.
I'm going to give you a theory later when we get to the sequence.
No, the actor.
No, I'm going to give you a theory on that.
Okay. Can it be Jeremy Irons?
Here's me hoping.
Dennis, put Jeremy as the Emperor of the known. Emperor is supposed to be England, right? Put a British guy.
That's actually a good idea.
Yeah. So the thing is, in this movie, you have to be very intimate with Paul. We were talking about the story, but it's the first half. The Harkonnens leave, the Atreides comes, the Harkonnens come back, attack. Emperor helps them. They kill Leto, father of Paul. And Paul and his mother survive and go to meet the Fremen.
And that's it.
Yeah. Actually, there is another parallel people bring, which is the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Yep. And I completely disagree with that. Because I think Fellowship of the Ring is a self-contained movie, even though it literally ends on a cliffhanger. This is not. This is not a self-contained movie.
Yeah, this is more like...
the first episode of a TV show.
Yeah, I really wished TV was a more viable format. I'm gonna get back on this later but this movie could not have been a TV show if I'm honest with you. Like,
they wouldn't spend the money on it. Definitely, we already have a miniseries on Dune.
I think this spectacle wouldn't be the same either. Like, this is one of those movies I was like, I want to see this in the cinema.
Yeah, but again, I'll get to that. But the problem I had with Dune. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
You're supposed to feel close to these characters. You're supposed to feel close to Paul and his mother, and those two are actually the only ones you're supposed to feel close to.
Yeah, a lot of his followers, like Jason Momoa's character.
Duncan
Josh
Idaho.
Brolin. Yeah, Duncan and all those people. You're gonna.
Gurney Halleck? Josh Brolin.
I don't really care about the names.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. The thing is, I didn't feel a shred of sympathy with these characters, because even though it's an intimate story, the movie is still told like an epic movie. Like, imagine it's told like Lawrence of Arabia, but instead of like events happening, you were always close with Lawrence, and like, what is Lawrence feeling now? And it doesn't work like that. Throughout the movie, I really didn't feel anything for Paul. So the moments I really liked were moments where events were happening, like when the political stuff was happening, or like when the backstabbings were happening, which is, I think, where I can't believe I'm saying this, David Lynch's version actually did it better, in the sense that it didn't try to get close to Paul. Like, Kyle MacLachlan in that movie is just another character in this array of characters.
He's an architect.
Yeah, he's an architect.
Yeah.
Here, we're supposed to feel close to Paul, Timothée Chalamet, which actually does a great job. But I don't feel anything for this character.
Isn't this is more like a subjective point of view? But because I really like the cat. First of all, I like the cast of Dune 1984. If I haven't said that before, they're really good.
Both movies have an ensemble cast of weird actors.
Yeah, like, especially this one. Like, he has an all-star in every sense of word. You have
Javier Bardem is like in 5 minutes of the movie.
I'm gonna get to that later. So is Zendaya.
Yeah, that's
you have those two. You have Timothée Chalamet. You have Rebecca Ferguson, my huge crush.
You have Jason Momoa. You have
Oscar
Josh
Isaac.
Brolin. You have Stellan Skarsgård.
Jason Momoa. All these people and
Dave Bautista, which is you forgot he was in the movie, didn't you? You forgot
everyone forgot he was in the movie.
I think everyone forgot Stellan Skarsgård was in the movie, and he's the fucking main villain. He's Baron Harkonnen.
Yeah.
And David Dastmalchian.
He's in the movie too.
He's in a lot of movies
recently.
Like, if everything goes as planned, he's gonna appear in our next episode too.
Yep, he's gonna.
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but yeah, he's in that movie too. But he's been in a lot of movies recently. It's good for him. Yeah, good for him. Why not?
It's not bad. There are a lot of decent roles I've seen him in, albeit very small. Like, I haven't seen David Dastmalchian doing a main role.
He's sort of a character actor. It's sort of like Christopher Lee was in 80s and 90s. Like, yeah, he really was there.
He gets the job done.
Yeah, he gets the job done. He has a very short role too. Oscar Isaac is in this movie. He's doing okay, I think.
Not his best, but not his worst either.
Yeah,
I think Oscar Isaac is a really good actor.
Yeah,
like,
he's really good. He's the only thing good about Rise of Skywalker. He and
Adam Driver.
No, Richard E. Grant. the last minute villain that they decided, we need him. Come on.
Yeah, we couldn't do with Brendan Fraser's son. What was it? Domhnall Grey.
Not Brendan Fraser.
No, not Brendan Fraser. Sorry, Brendan Gleeson's son.
Domhnall Gleeson.
Yeah, Domhnall Gleeson.
But yeah, like, I love the just a side note. I love the mentality that we need a villain. British guy, a tall, thin British guy, and it's either Jeremy Irons when he was alive, Christopher Lee,
Or Richard E. Grant.
or Richard E. Grant. And Richard E. Grant is in a lot of movies nowadays as the villain. He was in Logan. He was in. Which is good. I love the man, but he was in Loki too.
I haven't watched this show yet.
He's the old Loki.
Hopefully, this is actually the first one I say to add it to, but I hope we do an episode on Eternals too, because I think that movie is really interesting.
I will watch it. I haven't watched
The Oscar movie.
What?
The director won the Oscar for Nomadland.
Oh, I haven't seen Nomadland yet. I
think you
wanted to
should.
say Black Widow. I haven't still seen Black Widow.
That's unnecessary.
I need to watch it.
I get it. It's a completionist
I
mentality.
need to see what is. I don't look forward to it. In the same way, I don't look forward to what I need to watch Wonder Woman 1984. Which again, 1984. Oh my God! I can't believe that we have a 1984 Wonder Woman 1984, and there is no Dune mention in it.
I mean, that movie's problem is bigger than some Dune reference, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about it right now.
Anyways, Oscar Isaac is a really good actor. I think here, which it's a problem. I don't know if you believe me or not. If you're in the same camp as me, of course you believe me.
Yeah.
But the dialogue was very inconsistent.
The what?
Dialogue.
Like,
I didn't care for the jokes, the humor. Like,
it was very light. Like, the humor
the one that really sort of pulled me out of the
bugs
movie
you.
is Oscar Isaac, Leto Atreides say, "Smile, Gurney, I'm smiling," and it's like, why are you doing Marvel shit? Like,
It wasn't that Marvel. Like, I don't know.
it felt like in a movie where everybody's talking about like this big spiritual ideas, and they're suddenly like making one-liners and jokes. Thanks for the humiliation, old man. And I'm like, okay, this doesn't work.
I actually disagree with that. In the context of things, okay, here's the thing with remakes in general, and since this is the name of the podcast, wait, I've seen it before. You have a certain set of mind when you're approaching a remake. Like, okay,
I agree. Yeah.
This movie was epic, so its remake needs to be epic too. It's not a, it's not a detriment. It's not like I'm like, no, that's wrong way of thinking or something. But I think in the context of, again, how intimate the movie is trying to be, more so than the Lynch Dune, it kind of works. That's just my
opinion. I understand. My opinion is the opposite, because I think the movie did try to be intimate. Like, the way the story was told, it needed to be intimate. I don't think it worked. I think they tried to make an epic movie still, because it's an epic movie. Come on,
I agree with that.
The spectacle definitely comes first rather than the character. That's the pinnacle of epic movies. Like, yeah, look how beautiful we've made this shit, instead of what the characters are doing. Yeah, they're just here to show you this beautiful shit. And I think they did that. The problem is, here you needed to... This is why I think I may like the sequels probably more than this one. That's what I'm feeling.
That's what I was gonna actually ask you. Like, the story itself, in its nature, does get more intimate in the second part, especially the part where Zendaya and Timothée Chalamet are probably gonna bang each other in the future, and all the desert people stuff is. I'm gonna continue calling it desert people instead of Fremen. I don't care.
Yeah. We can do it, by the way.
Yes.
We are
the desert people.
And those fuckers didn't even bring any Arabic actors in a movie that is literally Arabian based.
Do we even have Arabic actors?
We do. Viz Ahmed. No, Viz Ahmed is Arabic? I don't know.
He has Arabic name. I don't think he's Arabic.
They are. They definitely
Probably,
are.
yeah. But the thing is, I think the sequels can mend this problem immensely. Again, this would have been a good TV show rather than Trilogy or whatever, but the spectacle, I think, just couldn't let it happen.
Yeah, the thing is that I'm with you. The sequels, I think, since more stuff is definitely going to happen in the sequels, it probably works better with the epic mindset. Yeah, there will be more intimate stuff between Chalamet and Zendaya. Definitely more than this movie. The 5 lines they
I
talk
have a
to each other.
theory. He has filmed the second part, at least in the majority of it. Like, you cannot, for the life of me, I cannot understand. So you put the contract in front of Javier Bardem and Zendaya and say, "So you want to play in Dune? Well, you're gonna be in only 5 minutes of it." I don't think they'll accept it. I think they've definitely filmed at least a part of it.
I don't know if they filmed it. I'm pretty sure the contract definitely said, if we're making the next one, you're coming back. Like, it probably is a 3-movie contract, but whether or not the movie are going to make... Because if they filmed it, why are they waiting till 2023? 2 years is too much for this movie.
Yeah, that's a cool thing too.
Again, to bring it back to Lord of the Rings was unique in a situation in which all of the movies were filmed at the same time.
Yeah.
Which made they come out at a 1-year intervals. And for a movie like Dune, with a lot of different ideas, with a lot of different characters,
I think it's the marketing, if I'm honest with you. Like, there was a lot of talk that this movie, quality-wise, is going to be a success. The thing that many people were bothered with were, I don't know.
it's a audio show. We need to talk about. I did the money thing.
Yeah.
With my fingers. They wanted money.
They wanted assurance that this movie, the unadaptable story, would work by a great director. Fanboyism.
To be honest, yeah, I agree. To be honest, when they told me Dune was gonna be by Denis, honestly, I wasn't hyped. Well, I was, yeah, why not? To be honest,
me neither. Yeah. Again, I don't care for the story, but I think whatever the man makes, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah,
it's just real good.
He's your Tim Burton, because I have the same idea about Tim Burton. I don't like Dumbo. I will probably hate the next movie he's gonna make, but yeah, I'm gonna watch.
Then again, I have many Tim Burtons. If that's the mindset.
No, I know. For me,
I get what you mean. Yeah.
Though of course it's probably more Gilliam, because Gilliam doesn't make as much movies like Denis. But yeah, to be honest, I think he was a good choice for this movie. I think the way they went at it was misguided, for lack of a better word. Like, if you want to have an intimate movie, we need to spend more time with the characters. Like, I need to know more about Paul other than his mommy is
really hot
and really weird. And Charlotte trampling is, for some reason, putting his hand in the... yeah, it's... to be honest, they were more... This is not my quote. This is some other review I read, and I love this quote, so I'm going to steal it. The movie felt more interested in showing the world that it has made than telling you the story. That's what is going on in that world. For a movie that is so obviously based on very complex politics of 1960s, this movie is really simplistic in how it depicts them.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, I needed a bit... I know this is probably coming in the sequel, where we meet the Emperor, Jeremy Irons. Either Jeremy Irons or like a reconstructed Christopher Lee. So...
Those are some ideas that Ali had. If I were, the question you asked, who the Emperor could be, if I were to say so, usually Villeneuve uses previous actors. So it is probably from one of his previous movies, and
Not Jeremy Renner, please, not Jeremy Renner.
it's definitely not going to be Jeremy Renner.
Benicio del Toro.
No, I think it's who's the head in Sicario? Like the real head of FBI. I think that dude's gonna be the.
I mean, it probably won't be Jared Leto. Please don't be Jared.
Definitely. I think the age difference is.
And by the way, we are calling it Emperor, but it's not just Emperor.
It's Shah.
It's Padishah Emperor, which again.
Jesus, Mr. Herbert.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Stop it. Bad dude. Bad guy. Like, to quote Billie Eilish, bad guy. Let me see.
Like, you have to slide way over.
Being the. I hate using my phone for this shit.
It's Victor Garber.
Could work. Oddly enough, and I know this is very unrelated to anything, Victor Garber was the original Anthony in Broadway on Sweeney Todd.
Really? I don't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah, he was the original Anthony. I see you, Joanna. Victor Garber could work, actually. But I don't know. I want someone more villainous. I want someone more, to be honest, someone more exciting. You know what I mean?
Jeremy Irons.
Yeah, again, if you don't want Jeremy, bring Richard E. Grant.
I mean,
Like-
if you want to go that route, he's probably gonna bring Harrison Ford at this rate. He's gonna be so fucking disinterested. Yeah, there's a lie.
Yeah, Harkonnen.
How what?
How-
I don't cheer for this sci-fi shit.
I mean, to be honest, I want I want him to Tarantino it. You know what I mean? Bring an actor that is so, like, for example, this would be a good idea. And Dennis, I know you're listening. Listen to this.
Thank you for listening,
Yeah.
by the way. Big fan.
2001: A Space Odyssey. The guy, the hero of that movie, he's still alive. The actor.
Is he?
Yeah,
Yeah, sure, that
he
works.
was in Hunters. He was playing, spoiler alert, for like 5 seconds. He was playing the Hitler in Hunters.
Okay.
So he's still alive. Why not him? Like, that would be a.
That would be a great nod, yeah.
Yeah, like bring him, and he's old now. He looks like old, and let me show it to you.
You know, you said that. I think instead of Stellan Skarsgård, if he was available, they should have brought in Jack Nicholson.
Oh
So
God,
fucking good.
Nicholson doesn't play.
Nah, he doesn't, unfortunately.
But yeah, that would be a really good idea too.
And not knock against Stellan Skarsgård. I think he did a really good job. It's just an idea.
Skarsgård is doing a really over-the-top performance, but to be honest, I think it works for this character. He's like really. He reminds me of John Noble in Return of the King.
Yeah.
He was Denethor.
Yeah.
The guy from like that. The guy who father of Boromir, father of Sean Bean.
The meme guy, if half of the meme, yeah.
What is that?
Okay,
can't-
so Lord of the Ring memes is a very strange community on Reddit. Why? Because they use bots that quote different characters, and one of the most well-known of them is Denethor.
Why? What the fuck is wrong with people? Anyway, the actor is Keir Dullea, and
No,
he's
we need to censor that name.
no, it's not Keir, it's Keir,
I don't care.
and he's still alive. He looks like this.
He could work.
Like, I know you can't see it, but Google him and you can see what we're seeing.
No, he again.
Dennis, use him. Use Keir Dullea.
I know you're a smart man.
Yeah. Oh, if like I'm thinking, what other famous? Oh my God! I got the best one. If you're not gonna use Keir Dullea, use Kyle MacLachlan.
McLachlan is too sympathetic.
He can be really scary.
I know, in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He's the villain in like first 2 seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and he's like,
He's a real pissed off dude.
yeah. Anyways, yeah. So to go back to Denis's Dune, I do recommend this movie. I think this is the best adaptation. I've seen the miniseries. Muhammad hasn't seen the miniseries, I think.
No, I am.
The miniseries is, I mean, if you have like nothing else to see,
Which is literally impossible.
yeah, go watch it. It's not very good, but the thing is, it is the best adaptation of Dune we have so far, and probably will have for a long time. It showed the unadaptable is adaptable. I just think the way they went at it was flawed. Like, again,
It's not like I've seen in a lot of places they place it in like Villeneuve himself top 2, 3 movies. It's definitely not. It's not Lord of the Rings. It's not, I don't know,
Yeah.
The Godfather in terms of the sense that it's
Yeah,
a perfect
scale.
start for a trilogy, which this is probably going to be. But it's very watchable, and I think it will age a lot better than Lynch's
yeah,
thing.
it probably will age definitely a lot better.
Like the special effects are really fantastic.
Yeah, the fact that the Baron Harkonnen levitating isn't so
That scene is
cartoonish.
so cool. Like his robe is reaching to the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only problem I have, and again, this is very nitpicky, is again Stellan Skarsgård. For some reason, the fat stuff that they put around his chin, it doesn't look like fat. I'm saying this as a fat person who have those things. It doesn't look like fat. It looks leathery, and I don't know. It felt weird.
Maybe
It looked
it's an
weird.
artistic.
Maybe it's like it's supposed to be like tumor growth and not like fat flaps.
Yeah.
But because he's fat, I'm assuming. And I don't know what the fuck Batista was doing there. Who do you think will wear the metal thong in Denis's? Let's see. We had Mick Jagger, which didn't happen. Then we had Sting. How about Roger Waters?
No. It's Harry Styles. Obviously.
Yeah. I mean, why not? To be honest, I really don't. I think that would be really cool. Yeah.
It's the natural progression of things.
Yeah. That's. Oh my god. Sting will probably like. Come on.
To be honest,
Yeah.
I don't think the metal thing is gonna happen.
I
Sorry,
think they
man.
should. I think they should.
I think it's just too serious for itself.
I think they should. But obviously, now that I watched it, I'm more hyped about the sequels. I think the fact that they stopped to see whether this movie will sell or not was a mistake. Commit to it like Jackson did.
Because this movie was actually gonna come last year too. It was ready apparently.
Yeah. So commit to it like Jackson did, like Peter Jackson did, and make all 3 at once, because the fact of the matter is there are a lot of small things in Dune that I hate when movies do this, by the way. And this is why I say it's not like Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings, the movies are continuing each other, but the later movies reference the earlier movies, not the earlier movie reference the later movies. So I think that's a problem, which the proponent of it was MCU and our good friend Mr. Zack Snyder with that fucking Batman v Superman, which he planned the next 5 movies in the second movie.
I mean, you haven't played it, but I think the height of it is Final Fantasy VII Remake. Like, bit of a side alley, but I have to nitpick it while I can.
Okay.
The game is not a remake. It's a how do I say this? It's doing the same exact thing, but they know they're doing the same exact thing. I don't know if there's a definition for it. Like, there are creatures called ghosts or something that know of the future, which is the previous game, and they're trying to change the. It's a clusterfuck. Let's just.
Yeah, that's a problem with a lot of this stuff, they sort of go back, and you have the knowledge of it being the future and knowing what will happen. So I think that's a problem. Another problem I had with Dune is the fact that, it's not a self-contained movie. Whoever said this is a self-contained movie was either joking or really didn't understand.
I think they were more trying to sell it as a self-contained movie.
To be honest, when the credits start and said Dune Part 1, I knew that it's not going to be self-contained. But I think the fact that, let's imagine for a moment, if it didn't sell, then what?
Obviously.
No more sequels. We have an unfinished movie. We'd have, for lack of a better word, another Golden Compass on our hand, which is a movie that...
Sorry.
Have you seen it, right?
Yeah.
It has a lot of... an ensemble cast. The cast in that...
They did turn the Golden Compass into a TV show, so... maybe
they
would have
remade
turned
it.
to...
And to be honest, none of the cast of the remake is as exciting as the cast of the original Golden Compass.
It has James McAvoy.
But the original had Daniel Craig and Nicole Kidman and Eva Green and Sam Elliott and Kathy Bates and Ian McKellen and Ian McShane.
I like the original cast.
And Christopher Lee is in it for one scene.
Sequel baiting much?
Yeah, they definitely sequel baited. And this is the problem I had with Dune 2, with the ending. I know, I'm glad you're gonna get a sequel. But if you hadn't, you just basically made a worthless movie.
I agree with that. It was a risky move.
Yeah.
But apparently it worked, and they're making
I hope so. I think it's one of those movies that 5-6 years from now, when all three are out, you can have a better time watching it, doing a marathon. Because, again, there are a lot of small things in this movie that I know is setting up the next movie. So I'm just, again, Batista is in it, and nobody remembers it. How do you remember that amazing... how do you not remember that amazing performance of him yelling out?
Batista has had good roles. Shockingly enough, in Blade Runner 2049, which is his role in that movie was really good, and Drax is also obviously amazing.
And Spectre.
The invisibility joke is going to be one of the best jokes ever.
That was John Cena.
No. In Infinity War.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You cannot see me. I am moving so slowly.
I thought you meant I can't see him. Why did you?
Talking about John Cena, we're gonna go to the next episode.
Yeah, let's just say I recommend. I'm sure you recommend the movie.
I do, but not to say that not to say it's his best movie. We're gonna see whether the whole package is gonna be
good or not. Yeah.
Good or not.
I hope this is not gonna be another Star Wars.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. But again, he's a lot smarter than George Lucas. I think he can make it.
J.J. Abrams.
Oh, that's Star Wars.
That's Star Wars.
That's a whole other tale for another time. Watch it. If you're not in Iran, I definitely recommend going to the theaters. I kind of realized how pissed he was when they announced the whole HBO Max thing.
To be honest, I think that actually made more people watch it.
It sold really well too. First week it was 200 million.
Yeah, but
considering the pandemic isn't even over.
This is a very slow movie. 2 hours and nearly 3 hours, I think.
No, it's 2.5.
2.5. And it's a very slow movie. I probably will have a lot harder time bringing people in. The same thing that happened with, Blade Runner.
Yeah, Blade Runner definitely failed because...
I think if that movie had the same treatment, a lot more people would have watched. Because I know watching movies at home is not... I know for Iranians, this is our only option, basically.
Almost exclusively.
Yeah. But for a lot of people, I know it's not as good as watching a movie on on the silver screen, but in many cases, I think a lot of the movies I probably would watch first at home and then go and watch outside. Like,
Yeah.
because this is a movie that I'm not gonna lie, at the middle of it, I needed to stop it and like decompose for a minute.
I understand that.
I think he was, to be honest, I think he's over.
Overhead.
Yeah, like, yeah, they're ruining my artistic vision. Not that, just bringing the date
To be
closer.
fair, as much of a big fanboy as I am of him, he's a bit of a
Drama queen.
yeah, especially
Yeah.
with his Marvel comments. Like, dude, you just made a Marvel movie. If we're honest, you made a real good Marvel movie,
Yeah.
but it is basically the same recipe.
Yeah. To me, I mean, if you want to be like that, and even in that case, Martin Scorsese said it better. Which could have been the tagline for Joker. Martin Scorsese did it better. Just a last jab at Joker for some reason. Who the fuck cares about Joker? Which is actually a good segue, because our next episode is going to be about a DC movie. And
A lot
It's-
better than Joker.
yeah,
probably.
a lot better than Joker. And, you know, Disney movie, John Cena. Can you guess what it is? Put your guests in the. Put your guess
Obviously,
in
it's
the
Black
comments.
Adam because it has The Rock in it.
Has who?
Black Adam has The Rock in it. You know, but they're both wrestlers.
Oh,
This is too meta of a
Yeah.
joke
like the.
for people to realize. You can't see. Oh my
You
god!
can't
I
see.
don't know. You don't follow wrestling as closely as I did. I guess
I used to for a long time, and then
because that feud was one of the weirdest things I've ever, lived through. So like week after
to be,
week.
to be honest, I mostly did Undertaker. My favorite guy was Undertaker.
I'm a CM Punk fan, so
Yeah. Who?
CM Punk.
I don't. I think it was after my.
No, this is like, summer of Punk, and he almost quit WWE with the title.
I don't remember.
Oh, dude, you are in for a treat.
Nice. To be honest, I remember Rick Flag. Does that mean something?
Wait, you're talking about the movie. I'm talking about the wrestler.
No, I'm talking about the wrestler. Rick Flag. No.
Yeah, Ric Flair.
Yeah, I was the guy whose daughter is apparently now a big shot. Oh my god!
Okay, we've spoiled it.
Yeah.
End
we
of the
spoke-
episode.
See you later.
Thanks for listening, watching. This is probably going on YouTube. I haven't decided yet. But yeah, thank you for being with us on this possibly very long journey. I don't know how long it took. But we'll see you next time. Goodbye.